Welcome to today's episode of Cooking with Chow. It's your girl, Cece. So today we are going to be making one of the most iconic street food items of the season, a Korean corn dog. I'm sure you guys have seen this all over Instagram, TikTok. Everyone's been doing that iconic cheese pull. Trust me when I say, if I can do this, you guys can make this as well. So let's get started. Let's talk about the ingredients first. So we're going to be making a dough batter, and then we're going to be using mozzarella sticks, and then we're going to do some sausage. We're going to fry it, and then we're going to season it with some sauce on top. So today I was actually inspired by one of my favorite ramen noodles ever, Buldak cheese. I'm really excited to try it fully and share with you guys how to make that. First thing, what we need is some yeast. I'm using about 2 teaspoons of some yeast. I'm going to add that in. Take some lukewarm water. Optimal temperature is about 64 degrees Fahrenheit. I like to add sugar just because you need to feed the yeast. It's like a little living organism in a way. Next, we're going to take some flour. I add about 1 3/4 cup flour. Add about 1 teaspoon of some salt, toss that in. You're going to just mix it until it's well incorporated and there are no lumps. This is like Play-Doh for adults. See, it's so beautiful. Now that it's basically all incorporated, we're going to just let it rest for about 45 to an hour, just in a warm place. Another thing that you could do is you can actually make this the night before you want to cook it, and you can just let it proof in the fridge overnight. Ta-da! Movie magic. I'm just kidding, guys. No, I actually made this last night, so I can show you how it actually looks the day afterwards. It's proofed up nicely and it's very soft. I actually tested out a couple of different dough recipes, and this is kind of the best one that I found, just because we want the dough to be crispy, chewy, but not super, super thick. So this is what I would definitely recommend to do. So now that we have our dough ready, we're just going to let this kind of hang out and come to room temperature for about 15 to 20 minutes. But in the meantime, we're gonna get started on our potatoes. I have about 1 to 2 potatoes that I'm going to be using, and we're going to cut them into small little cubes. Small little cubes, about 1 centimeter cubes is what we want. Get your pot going on some hot water. Now that our water is boiling, we're just going to blanch our potatoes in. The reason we want to do this is to help release some of that excess starch so that our potatoes don't stick together when we're frying, and that we can have optimal crispiness. Let's set a timer for 2 minutes. Okay, so our potatoes are done. I am just going to quickly strain this and I will be right back. So now that I strained it, just gonna toss that back in. Going to actually grab a couple sheets of some paper towel so that we can just remove all of that excess water to help it fry a bit better, to have optimal crispiness. I am actually going to start getting our oil going, because oil takes quite a long time, so I'm just going to start to heat up some oil. I am using canola oil. You want to use oil that has really high smoke point so that you don't have that harmful toxins that come from burning, like oils that don't have a high smoke point, like olive oil. Do not fry with olive oil, okay? Now that I have squeezed out all of that water, I'm actually going to add in some tapioca flour to it. The reason I like to do this is actually to just help take out some of that moisture. And also, tapioca flour is one of my favorite things to fry with. It gives it a really nice crunchy layer. Whenever I'm making like Korean chicken wings or just chicken wings in general, typically tapioca flour is what I use. If you'd actually like to see me make some chicken wings, comment that below and I'll share with you guys my best recipe ever. So good. So what we're going to do today actually is 3 different types. We're going to do a mozzarella version, the classic cheese pull version. You want to use either string cheese or pizza mozzarella. The reason for that is because the moisture level is much higher, so it's easier for it to melt. So you don't want to use something like super fancy. Use the cheap, good, cheesy stuff, okay? Moving on to hot dogs. So I've tested out the different types of sausage to use. Do not use the skinny sausage ones. No, you want the thick sausage ones. How do I say that without laughing? I am purely talking about actual food, okay? Use a thick one because when you're biting, you want a big bite of sausage. You guys get the point. The next concoction, I actually, when I was on set today, I was like, why don't I try to incorporate cheese within a dog? So we're gonna try this and see if it turns out. Gonna get our oil going. We want our oil to be about 350 degrees. We're gonna start with the dog. Okay, grab your thick dog, grab some of your dough, and you're just going to turn and wrap it like that, okay? Kind of like that. Wrap this like you're wrapping a mummy. And you don't actually want too much dough, you want just enough. So once it's covered and equally covered around, then you're good to go. Okay, that looks really good. Let's talk about the different coatings we're going to do. So panko is one that is very, very common. You see it all over. Typically, this is what they will use in the street food, but there are versions with cornflake and ramen. Today, we're going to be doing both of those. So the first one we're going to do is the iconic Korean hot dog, which is essentially the panko, but also incorporates that potato that we had. So first thing what we're gonna do is grab it in and just shove it, squeeze it. Squeeze that bad boy together. Oh yeah. So once that's done, carefully move it over to the panko and cover it, the whole thing. You put panko in any spots that are sticky. We're going to just gently, carefully move it over and place it. You hear that sizzle? That's exactly what you want, okay? I like to cook it for about 2 to 3 minutes per side. Once it gets a little bit golden brown, you're ready to go. The great thing about everything we're using actually is that it's already all cooked. There's no concerns in terms of eating any sort of raw food, so that's the great news about it. Okay, it's just about done. I'm gonna give it maybe another 30 seconds and we're gonna remove it and we're gonna put it on a cooling rack. While we do that, we're gonna start on the cheese. The thing about the cheese one though is that you need to make sure you're covering every spot of it, because if not, your cheese might actually explode in the oil and nobody wants that. This is done. So if you look at it, it's all nicely golden brown all over. You can see that the potatoes, all of the edges on the side are all crisp, like that. It's a work of art, everyone. Place that on your cooling rack. This is a very important step. Right after this comes off the fryer, grab some sugar and you're going to dust it over. You want to do this while it's still hot so that the sugar sticks on and it becomes almost sticky. This is what makes the Korean corn dog so iconic, is because it's sweet yet savory and just absolutely delicious. Okay, so we're gonna let that rest and we're going to start on the cheese. We're gonna cover it in ramen noodles first and then we're gonna cover it with panko just to make sure that all the crevices of the dough are covered. Beautiful, this is done. Dust it like so. So let's talk about the sauce that I made. I utilized my favorite ramen noodle that we talked about earlier, but that sauce packet in there is fire. It is so delicious. So what I did was I incorporated it into a squeezy bottle, but because it is so spicy, I put a little bit of some QP mayo in it just to help take off the edge, so to speak, of the spice, and make it a little bit more CWC friendly. We're just going to just drizzle it over. This one, I'm going to do classic ketchup. Pro tip when you're wanting to plate, what I do actually is take parchment paper, I squish it into a ball, and then I open it and it provides really nice texture. If you guys actually want to see how I plate and kind of the tips that I do when I shoot photos, comment that below. That's something completely different versus like cooking, but I love to do it, so let me know. cute little family. Well, everyone, we are done. Look at how delicious they look. Shall we do a taste test? It's super, super crunchy, the outside. You have the roof of my mouth is low-key on fire. The cheese within the sausage is magnifique. Well, guys, I hope you guys had so much fun with me. And you know, today we did something different. Like, I actually hadn't made Korean hot dogs before 24 hours ago, and I made it just for you guys because I thought it'd be fun for you guys to see me do something a little bit different. And you know, honestly, just push myself on camera as well. So if there's anything else that you guys want me to try, comment that below. I honestly will try it on camera. First-hand reaction for you guys. I'm actually going to also post a poll on Instagram this week to figure out what I'm going to make. So if you guys want to do that, don't forget to follow me at Cooking with Chow. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you guys next week. Well, thanks for tuning in. Ciao for now.